Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. This is a meeting of the Gloucester School Committee. We are meeting at the Gloucester High School Library. The public is welcome to attend meetings in person or alternatively through the Zoom link provided on the meeting. The meeting notice will reflect if the meeting is via Zoom only. As amendments to the open meeting are allowed, the school committee may continue to hold meetings remotely. Please note the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the remote connection. I will state that the mission for Gloucester Public Schools is for all students to be successful, engaged, lifelong learners, and I ask you to join me in this. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We want to acknowledge that a former school committee member, long-term school committee member, recently passed, Kim Norman, who I think she was on our committee on 10 years. And so if we can just keep her in our thoughts.
Can I just say, because I served with Kim
There you go.
back in the day, and she'd already been there for a very long time. She was very soft-spoken, but someone you could count on for doing the homework and just being a voice of reason through some tough times. So she'll be missed.
I'll just add, when I got on the committee in 2008, I think that's when she left. And she was a mentor to me, a very special person. So definitely not thoughts.
Okay. First item of this, well, next we move on to oral communication. There's no one with us in person tonight. If there's anybody online, see someone online. I'm gonna read the oral communication guidelines. The public shall have the opportunity at every regular school committee meeting to be heard under oral communication. Oral communication shall allow any resident who has a request or complaint of any nature relative to the school committee business to appear before the school committee, state their problem without debate, and the matter may be referred to the proper subcommittee. For items that are on the agenda, members of the public may address the committee with the permission of the chair. Persons speaking under oral communication shall be limited to 3 minutes each and shall submit a copy of their prepared communication to the recording secretary. Okay, Marianne Boucher, you have your hand raised.
Thank you, Marianne Albert Boucher, 93 Mount Pleasant Avenue. Yesterday, I picked up my granddaughter at the East Veteran School, and I was parked down on Eastern Avenue. My daughter walked my granddaughter down. At the same time, I was talking to the mayor about another topic, and I would have taken a picture had I known that I could take pictures of children, but I know better than that. I would have actually taken a video because I would love to have presented it to especially you, Superintendent Lummis, and to Mayor Verga. I was horrified at what I saw. And I know it's very difficult to try to find people to hire for this position for bus drivers and for crossing guards. But growing up next to the East Gloucester Elementary School, we not only had a crossing guard at Davis and Chapel, we had a crossing guard at East Main Street and Chapel Street. And the difference in the amount of traffic and the volume of the traffic and the speed of the traffic from that school to this school on Eastern Avenue in Webster is substantial. And I would suggest that you offer an increased amount of money that wouldn't affect our city, it really wouldn't, to potentially save a young child's life. I highly recommend Superintendent Lummis and Assistant Superintendent Pasquarello and also Mayor Verga, all of you, to please go over there and watch the cars. Because yesterday, I have to say it, I didn't want to come on here, but I had to come on here because I was horrified at what I witnessed. And like I said, if I could have taken a video of the children, I would have, but I know better than that. That's really against all laws. So please, I beg of you to do something before a child is injured or killed. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne.
Just want to say, the mayor reached out to me yesterday, asking about this. This is a question that we've gotten from a number of, parents and now community members as well, but really parents. We recently added a crossing guard on Webster Street right there where, most students cross. Because they're also, not only some folks who are being picked up by cars, but folks who are walking into the neighborhood, And the mayor, we've been advertising, we'll continue to advertise. The mayor and his team are now going to help out with some of that as well. I agree, in terms of needing more people in terms of crossing guards. The same thing can be said about bus drivers as well. This is not a new issue, but something has shifted, since just after COVID. People are not, going to these jobs. So I'm open to, the committee thinking about this, not now, obviously, it's not part of your business at this point, or on your agenda, but I just want to give you an update about aware of it, working on it, and it's not something that we can magically, have people show up. One thing we did do, I believe, is no, that's not crossing guard. Sorry, we think about two other things. So,
Go ahead.
Two things. First, I just had someone ask me how to be a crossing guard, so just reminding me to
Awesome.
text her and send that.
Okay.
But second, wondering, and Charity works for the schools in a different position. Is there any way to get a detail, not a detail, but the offices in the morning just to ride by there for now to put a presence? I know they come on at 8 in the morning, but if they can take 15 minutes or so to be in the area, to be a presence, maybe that would help until we can
I'll
get a
check with the
position
chief. I know
filled.
that when I was on the phone with Mary Ann, it was pickup time, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, after
But-
school?
yeah.
Okay. So that's what, 3?
No, 2:30.
2:30, so it's before the shift gets off at 4, so maybe if there
They
can
can
be
do it,
some
but certainly
kind
can't do
of.
a detail, but if they
Yeah,
can find,
yeah.
if they're not on another call elsewhere.
Right.
But I've got a note, so. I'll
Okay.
add.
Thank you.
We do have it now, because the school who negotiated this was that new supervisors and crossing guards can have both those positions.
And that's what she is.
There we go. Which is, adding a little flexibility and also helps to build up the hours of either one of those employees. They can do both. We couldn't do that before because you can't have 2 jobs in the city, to municipal law. But that allows us to combine those 2 positions if folks are interested. So it's great.
I see no one else with their hand raised, so we will move on to recognitions. I saw from your superintendent's report something I would mention, so I'll let you do it.
Okay.
Any other recognitions?
There's one on your report that I won't mention, but,
Well, you can mention it because it helps
Oh,
them
okay.
say it
All right.
twice.
so I'll mention it. But first, I'm gonna start with the
Peter's
Beacon
office.
back to school dance that happened maybe a week ago. And it's a huge volunteer effort to make that happen. And there was also staff who are parents, and the principal was there, and it's sort of uncontrolled chaos, but really, really fun, and really gives the kids a great sense of their community. So I want to commend everyone and the PTO for creating that event and making it so fun. And the other event I was going to mention, there was a brief midday band concert at O'Malley about a week ago, and to sort of showcase the skills to a funder of the program, and it was just great. I mean, it's just great seeing them play. It was the 7th and 8th grade band, and their wonderful teacher Carlos Menezes, and it was just brought a smile to everyone's face.
And I just wanted to say how great Meet the Parents Night was at Gloucester High School. And I only missed one class because teacher wasn't there. And it was so well done and well organized and well run. And the financial aid guest speaker before was excellent. So kudos all around. And I got to see James Cook in his element. So that was really nice too.
Okay, we will move on to the Gloucester High School Student Advisory Council, and we have Kate and Jules with us again. Thank you for being here.
Hi, so first I'm gonna start off, thank you guys for letting me be here. I'll start with the class of 2026, so we're selling our semi-tickets until October 24th. Our semi-formal is November 10th at the Black Swan. And we're getting ready for the pep rally because that is October 17th. The class of 2027, they have an Azorian fundraiser tomorrow, and they're working on planning a powder puff fundraiser for like the grades, for each other, along with selling t-shirts to raise money for their class. the class of 2028, they're working on selling bandanas and class shirts for the pep rally. And they had a Minglewood fundraiser and they said it was pretty successful, made a few money from it. Class of 2029, had their elections, they have their officers, but they're just getting started with fundraisers, class dues, stuff like that as freshmen. National Art Honor Society, they do art buddies twice a month for the rest of the calendar year. They're working on a framed fundraiser where it's basically you have art galleries that travel to different houses and you must donate to get them moved. I don't really know a lot of details on that, but they're working on making that possible. They have a field trip tomorrow to a museum. Student Council, we have a pep rally October 17th, and we're working on getting Thanksgiving baskets. We're about at 30, but trying to increase that and make a few more baskets. Homecoming royalty is going to be crowned at the homecoming game, which is also October 17th, and that's pink out theme. For the pep rally, we're doing a senior yearbook photo. We don't know if it's going to be on the field or at the steps. We haven't really decided. Mental health ambassadors will be distributing bandanas for students to take, wear to show unity between everyone. And then the Free Food Locker has been working with health classes to show them like what Free Food Locker is and giving them food and donating, showing them really what they're all about. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you for me. I neglected to do a roll call, just so the audience knows who's around the table. Since we don't use name tags. But go ahead.
To go first,
Yeah, you can go.
Michael Jarvis, Director of Special Education.
Vasquez, Assistant Superintendent.
And Lomas, Burnett.
Jeremy McKean, School Committee.
Laura Weason, School Committee.
Melissa Texera Prince, School Committee.
Kathy Clancy, School Committee.
Alicia Mallon, MASC.
Greg Bergen, Mayor.
Keegan Jewell, Executive Board.
Stephanie DeLisi, Recording Secretary.
All right, great. So we will move on to deliberations on education issues. And we'll take the superintendent's report first. Without objection. Oh, sorry. I skipped that. Okay, sorry. Next item is consent agenda. Does anybody have any items they'd like to remove?
I'd like to remove the minutes from September 24th.
Okay. So the minutes of September 24th have been removed. So you want to?
You want me to say why?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So there's just a missing word when we talk about the process for the I had it all up here. For the process for choosing the new superintendent, down in, let's see, down in phase 2, the second bullet from the bottom, it says school committee, first it says for the third from the bottom, school committee meets, deliberates, and votes. Then it says if school committee votes, a contract will be negotiated. So I think if the school committee approves, it doesn't say we vote positive. And then the next one is if the school committee does not approve. So it just needs to show that the school committee would vote approval. And then a contract will be negotiated.
Vote to hire. The school committee votes to hire.
Okay. That was the proper word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so without objection, we'll adjust the minutes. We'll have Stephanie make those edits.
I move that we approve the consent agenda with the edits to the September minutes.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Okay. Now go over to the superintendent.
Right, good evening, everyone. So, I'll do my report first. I'll share here. So as we say, every day matters. Everybody belongs. And every student learns here in Gloucester Public Schools. So my report tonight. So a bunch of things going on. So we are now since the city was able to purchase the preschool and district office building, we can now make improvements. These improvements were noted and planned for during the approval, both your approval and city council approval, and it is going forward. What you're seeing here is the rebuilding of the preschool playground, but an important, which is pretty cool, by the way, just how people, Mike DeSalle in this case, he moves around dirt and makes these level, and it's just I don't know, it's like painting with a gigantic backhoe. Okay, I don't get it. Anyway, so despite my admiration for that, but we're also improving access by raising the playground by 3 feet. And that means the sort of the path down to it is will be paved first of all, much more easy to navigate basically. So that's a real, and also improving some fencing as well to make it so kids are separated from the parking lot, very clearly. So it was improvements on safety and accessibility, and of course on cooking as well, and branding. So that is if you think of the new buildings as well, 4 of our 6 sets of our 7 buildings have newer playgrounds. The oldest one in West Parish. Because also we did Beam and Plum with COVID dollars, obviously East Veterans. Now we're going I think that's 5. The only ones we haven't redone are O'Malley, which doesn't have a playground, and we're on a path towards redoing where the kids play. And the high school doesn't have a playground, but it has things like the field house, which we've already redone. So a continued effort to improve the facilities inside and out. So a few updates from the elementary schools. Beeman is having his Halloween trunk or treat. Halloween has extended for most of the fall in our area. And I don't mean just Gloucester, I mean the stores as well. And then also on the right there, you have Mrs. Sanfilippo. So we really have a district-wide effort on recognizing, appreciating, and showing gratitude. And Ms. Sanfilippo, Beeman, Carol Sanfilippo, her first grade classroom is taking it to heart in a very real way. So they end the week with their end of the week gratitude. And you see some of the things that the students are appreciative of and recognizing as friends and teachers, learning so much, work the computers, playing Oscar and trash can game and PE, and yummy sun butter and jelly. So these are a few of the things that Ms. Sanfilippo's class is grateful for when they were working on their end of the week gratitude last week. Plum Cove, just like all of our schools, are having a safety and emergency training. So they're having, so this is just sort of an update that they had their emergency evacuation drill last week. Lieutenant Gossam, Michael Gossam from the Gloucester Police Department is a huge support of ours and has been for many years, helping our staff prepare and learn and do those quite quickly and safely with our students. And all of our schools have fire drills every year, numerous ones we have 2 emergency evacuation drills, sometimes known as intruder drills, and then also bus safety as well at the school. So that happens at all. And Plum Cove is getting there underway, but all the ones are scheduled for all the other schools as well. And they're having an offer visit with Maureen Harrington and her her books about Ivy, her dog named Ivy, and also sometimes Rosebud as well. And Maureen Harrington is coming to Plum Cove to visit and read to the students. At O'Malley Middle School, so here is the Music Drives Us org. So the Ernie Box organization is supporting our O'Malley band, the band program at O'Malley, and we're also working to increase the funding dollars for that as well. Some of the funding has decreased from GF recently, and so we're working with GF to increase that funding as well. So more on that effort in the future. On the right-hand side is not only the O'Malley update, it's also a Beam and Plum Cove update. Wendy Ng and our food service staff introduced chicken tikka masala at O'Malley, Beam and Plum Cove last week. And it looks like it'll start to become a sort of monthly item on the menu. It's pretty awesome.
A long way from bacon burgers that we've been.
You missed those. Well, you could probably, if you like wings, you probably arrange something for you, especially, Mr. Mayor. At the high school, Jeremy mentioned Meet the Teachers Tonight. Here's a photo, a couple photos. On the left, you have one of the many NJROTC students who are helping parents with guiding and getting to class and navigating the hallways and the schedule there. So we appreciate their help. They're in their dress blues, I guess, but they're kind of black. Anyway, the color, the clothes there, but really do appreciate their support of the families. On the right, also, Mr. McKee mentioned this. That's Kevin Fudge in the middle, with part of our guidance counselor team. He's from NEFA, or the Massachusetts Educational Financing Authority, and he's been giving a fantastic presentation to our families every year. It's one of the best teaching, one of the best teaching presentations I've ever seen done with parents, especially something as complicated and sort of dry as paying for things like college and loans and mortgages and FAFSA and financing authorities and all those complicated pieces. But he just did a great job of engaging families and helping them learn. He's been coming here for almost 20 years, and he's sought after by many other districts who can't get them. But because of the relationship with our high school, with our guidance team, he comes every year. So it's a phenomenal support for our families. It's very challenging. For Endicott, this is a pretty big deal. So Endicott, Professor Joy Dangora Erickson has been researching both qualitative and quantitatively the community impact units, our SROs, work with their summer fishing program and also their online video gaming that they started sort of on their own about 4 or 5 years ago, probably 6 years ago now, actually, and has been a real hit, but a real support. And what Dr. Erickson was able to do through her research was identify all of the various sort of research proven ways that our officers, so again, Officer Pete Cetera, Michael Scola, Brendan Ciprini, Officer Parity, Officer Parady's first name, Officer Parity. Someone's got to help me. Officer Parady's first name? Joe Parity. There we go. Thank you. Have been doing this for years, and the work they do with their students in video gaming and summer fishing program is being recognized. It has been recognized through the research of Dr. Erickson in so many ways. So I'll explain in a moment. I also want to highlight two folks who are in this image here, which is Logan Hardy sitting down, who's now a high school student, and also Carson Klopotowski, who's at the podium here. You see the podium. And they're both had a chance to speak to the audience. It's a full house at the Fisher, I think it's the Fisher Hall, I want to say, over in Endicott. And there are family members, there were principals from our schools. I was in attendance. There was teachers there, school committee member, Cassie Clancy was there, and then a whole bunch of Endicott folks, both interested in learning about the research and learning about the work that our SROs do with our students and families, and also to support these folks. So the officers were there, and then the students were there. And so just to be more specific, in terms of what was recognized was their research-based expressions of care, okay, that the professor and her team witnessed in a research, qualitative coding way, the officers doing all the time, basically, okay? Online, also in person during the summertime, they would be fishing. And I'll name some of these: naming, seeing participants, inquiring about participant well-being, affirmation of participant identity, inclusive statements and actions, responding to participant concerns and questions, acknowledging participant knowledge, expertise, and skills. These are the things that when you do them with human beings, they know they are seen, they know they are respected, they know they belong, they want to keep coming back, okay? And certainly, Officer Sutera and Parity and Scola and Ciparini do these things all the time. And most importantly, they don't just do them on the gaming, work with the kids or the fishing, they do it every day in our schools. And that is why I always have said and will continue to say why they are different than most SROs. Okay, they know our students because they do these things. They do these things because they're intelligent professionals who understand kids very well. Okay, I'm not sure if they've studied them, and they may have, I don't know that, but they do them naturally and effectively, and they do it so that in our schools as well, so they know the kids know them, the kids trust them, the kids come to them for advice, counseling, information, that sort of stuff. They have great relationships with our students and their families, and that also helps when kids need it, the families need it most as well. Helps every single day, but it's both on the online gaming, both on the fishing, but also especially every day in our school. So it's a really tribute. I'm so glad that they are recognized in this way. I'm so glad, that, because it's, what they do is out of the norm. It should be in really many places.
And I would just add, being there to hear them talk about these two specific programs and their engagement with kids and and that they have an overabundance of interest in going out fishing, and the young ones can be their family, parent or something. So it's not like they need to be, 10 and 8, they before, and they're holding up there was a picture of a little kid who had a fish, probably very caught. But I think the fun and the connection, as you say, it made the kids feel seen. I think the professor did a good job engaging the students there as to the importance of these programs. Even though her presentation was kind of on the research that she did that validated the importance of this. So I think it really was nice for students to see what happens in education. And then big plug, any of you want to come work in Gloucester after you graduate, come on up. We have a great district, so nice to see you.
It's just great to recognize professionals and important part of the community. All right, so that Cape Ann College and Career Fair. So this is a career fair that we hosted for many years, but then the Chamber of Commerce supports it, and I said, how would we share that? So it's been a different, other Cape Ann high school recently that Ipswich this year, and there's a huge turnout from Gloucester. We had the biggest turnout of any students or any students and families. But just it's a great way for any year student in school to sort of start learning the ropes about different possibilities that are out there. It's, not just colleges, but also other career-oriented organizations, companies who are hiring. Our services are also there, so just a great endeavor. Going on. So congratulations to the football team. They're 5-0. We had 3 different students, 3 different athletes from the football team be recognized as Players of the Week by the Boston Globe. It's pretty awesome. And we did beat Salem High 30-0 last week, which is pretty awesome. And also a real thank you to the band parents. The band is showing up in force these days, and great turnout from them, but also really appreciate the support from the band parents being there, cheering the folks on, supporting their students, so supporting the program. So just want to acknowledge that.
Huge turnout of students.
Yep.
A lot of school spirit there.
Yeah, definitely. We have one more home game on October 17th. That I believe is, as we heard, was about the theme is pink, support breast cancer awareness and solutions. Nice on that. Theater program we have here is The Sound of Music is the fall musical. Auditions were last week. You see there kids doing their first reading. This is the cast there. You see after the auditions doing their first reading this week, and the performances will be November 20 through 22nd. So just a week before the Thanksgiving break.
Okay.
All right. That's it.
Okay. And we will go back to the first agenda item, which is the superintendent selection process. And tonight we are discussing the interview panels. So you will. And with us we have, as she introduced herself before, Alicia Mallon, who is our field director for Massachusetts Association of School Committees. They provide school committees with guidance on policy, on any number of things we may encounter. They're accessible to any of us that may have a question. And so we're glad to have Alicia with us tonight, who's helping us, who's guiding us through this. Evaluate Amy Pasquarello as our next superintendent.
Excellent, thank you. So are you sharing the slides?
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you. So, as Kathy said, we're here to talk about the next step in the process. So just a quick reminder for everyone, when we met first, I told you about the 2 legal requirements that in Massachusetts, you must appoint someone who can attain or is already licensed to be a superintendent. And the superintendent must be appointed in a properly posted meeting by the school committee. Next slide, please. And when we first talked, I gave you your list of options, and we talked about how not choosing to evaluate promoting an internal candidate does not preclude you from doing other things down the road, but it is an excellent place to start, and roughly a third of our districts will undergo this process rather than undertake any other. So, next slide, please. There are approximately 4 phases to this. We are currently in phase number 1, where we solicited stakeholder panel participation, and then we will move on to preparation for the interviews. Then we will have the community meet and greet, we will have the actual panel interviews. The school committee will have a full in-person at a regular meeting time, not necessarily a regular meeting, it'll be its own, but a regular meeting time interview. And then the school committee will meet to deliberate and vote. So in phase 1, we solicited volunteers for stakeholder panels. We had decided last time I met with you all that we were going to have 4 sets of panels: teachers and staff, students, parents, guardians, and administrators, and administration, including the city administrators. Now, before we moved on to the next slides, when we start talking about the actual makeup of the group, I want to remind everyone that this, if you applied for this and you volunteered, first of all, thank you so much. It's a big undertaking, and we really value all of your feedback for this process. If you were not selected for a panel, there is still the opportunity to attend the panel in person that that aligns with the stakeholder group you identified yourself with. You are more than welcome to do that and give feedback. There will also be the 2 community meet and greets and the school committee interview. So there are plenty of opportunities for people to have feedback into this process. We just want to make sure that when we put the panels together, we're really getting that cross-section you all wanted. You wanted as many groups represented as possible, and that we didn't overload the panel with too many people, because that would make an ineffective interview process. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Drum roll. This is the first panel that we put together, and Kathy and I worked very closely over the last couple of weeks, refining the questions, making sure we had asked about all of the stakeholder groups. There were a couple places where, like, I had listed something as a PTO, and that's not what you call them. So we went back in and we refined the survey so that we could get the best cross-section possible. So as you can see on your screens here, we have family member who is a pre-K through 5 parent and guardian and a CPAC member, family member who is an O'Malley parent and guardian, parent/guardian, family member who is pre-K parent or guardian. We have a community member who is the vice president of the Addison Gilbert Hospital and the leader of the GHS Health Center. Fantastic cross-section from the community. A family member who is pre-K O'Malley and the high school. That's a nice cross-section too. Someone who has kids that are young and all the way up to the high school. Oh, O'Malley, I'm so sorry. So sorry. My Irish Catholic kicked in and I said O'Malley, I'm so sorry. So family member who is pre-K and high school, O'Malley parent, guardian, and CPAC member. There's another one. A retired aerospace engineer from the community. That's fun. I don't think I've seen that one yet. A pre-K parent, a guardian, and a PTO leader. There's another one of our stakeholder groups. A family member who is an O'Malley parent and guardian, a high school parent and guardian, and a director of the Cape Ann Art Haven. That's a nice cross-section of parent and community. And then a family member of a parent or guardian from pre-K to 5. I have to say I was very impressed. We had 55 people respond, and part of the process was we were looking to establish groups of people who hit all of your cross sections and could represent multiple stakeholder groups. And I was very impressed with the turnout. And again, I say thank you very much to all of your volunteers. This was amazing. Sure.
Quick question,
Yeah.
just so I'm clear, people can attend these
Oh, yes.
and they can also fill out the
Yep,
questionnaire.
there will be a feedback form for them at the end. So yeah, if you may not be one of the 12 sitting at the table, but you 100% can give your feedback in the process.
Okay.
Absolutely. Multiple times, actually.
Right.
So going to the next one. This is our teacher and staff. I have to tell you, this is a really impressive cross-section of teachers and staff. When we do a lot of our stakeholder feedback sessions, when we do full searches, we do struggle to have staff in those places at those times. This is a phenomenal cross-section. So you have East Veterans Elementary Classroom teacher, you have an O'Malley School Adjustment Counselor, a high school special education teacher. We've already hit multiple categories just with those 3. You have an East Veterans Elementary Physical Education teacher. I have to tell you, I was really impressed by that because we don't always get representation from the teachers who are teaching specials. And I think that's really important too. We have preschool paraprofessional and union leadership. We have the food services manager from the high school, fantastic. Plum Cove paraprofessional and union leadership, O'Malley 7th grade math teacher and union leadership, high school teacher and union leadership, high school administrative assistant, Beaman special education teacher, and West Parish elementary classroom teacher. I think you have a phenomenal cross-section of staff here. I think you've hit a lot of places in your district. I'm very impressed with the representation. So, and then our next one is our stakeholder interview panel with the administrator. So this was not just the district administrator. This was also at least one of your city administrators that works closely with your district. So we have the assistant principal of the high school, the preschool director, the finance director, and it also says incoming CFO. We have the City of Gloucester Chief Financial Officer. That is someone who's going to work very closely with the next superintendent. The principal of Gloucester High, the assistant principal of the O'Malley, curriculum instruction and coordinator at the O'Malley, assistant principal at East Veterans Elementary, director of special education, principal O'Malley, human resources director, very important, and the principal of West Parish Elementary. So if we go to the next slide, you can see that part of what we discussed was getting these cross sections, and this is a small breakdown that just shows you. And actually, I noticed after the fact that under staff, we don't actually list how many union representatives we have, but we do have, I believe it's 3 union representatives as well. We have a really good, 4? Oh, did I miscount that?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So not included on that list is also 4 union representatives. This is a great cross-section of people within your district who will work directly with the superintendent, who will be stakeholder groups that you want to tap into. I think you did a great job soliciting volunteers, and I am really excited about the next steps in this process. So does anyone have any questions so far?
We did send out many reminders.
Yes.
1623 Studios also posted in between their programming.
Yep.
And there was a really nice article in the newspaper directing people on how to express an interest if they also wanted to. So I'm glad for the turnout. Yeah.
And again, there will be plenty of opportunities for feedback. If you're not one of the people asking the questions directly, there will still be plenty of opportunities for feedback.
And the survey has already been created for, I mean, for people to question, you know, when people are done listening, are they gonna be able to?
So that's our next step.
Okay.
So what will happen in the next couple of days, if you all approve these panels, what will happen in the next couple of days is I will, with Kathy's help, put together what the feedback form will look like for each of the stakeholder groups. I will also, with Kathy's help, reach out to the interview panelists, and I will share with them our question compilation. I will explain to them what they should be doing, looking through. Generally we advise panels. So if you have 12 people and you're thinking the panel is going to be like an hour and a half to 2 hours, everyone gets 2 questions-ish. And it depends on the push and pull, but we go through, everyone gets 1 question, and then you might get a second question or a follow-up. So what I generally tell people to do is develop 3 of your favorite questions so that you know you're going to ask your first question. If you asked my first question, I will then have a second or a third question to go on to. Or if I felt like I wanted to substitute in a follow-up and I got a second question, I could do a follow-up. So I will explain all of this to the interview panel people. I will send them our documentation, explain what the process is, and make myself available to them if they want to ask me any questions. And then Kathy and I will generate together, we have form surveys that we have at the ready. We will generate the form surveys for the feedback. And we will also start sending you all questions so that you can start thinking about your questions for the school committee interview. And then you can also ask me any questions that you might have about that process as well.
And I recall from our conversation, when we first talked about the process, you wanted definitely an open-ended area for people to provide feedback, not just yes, no, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that will definitely be part of it.
Yes, great. Yep, absolutely. So if you could go to the next slide, just to remind people, we have the 2 community sessions.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. I'm sorry, who's gonna reach out to the panelists? Panelists don't know, this is the first time, we threw the packet earlier today, and now people are seeing that they may or may not be on it, or their friends are telling them they're on it. So who will communicate and when to give them, let them know they're on it first of all?
So in the next 2 days, they will get an email from me that I will include Kathy on, and I will send them our interview question compilation document. And I will explain the process to them and let them know if they have any questions, they should reach out to me. So in the next 2 days or so, definitely by the end of the day on Friday, but in the next 2 days or so, they will get the document with an email from me. I will CC Kathy so she knows it's happening, just so that she can see that the process is still in motion, and then we go from there.
Great, thank you very much.
Absolutely. So this is our timeline for phase 2, which is we have the 2 community sessions, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, again, to try and provide as much opportunity for feedback as possible. And there will be a feedback form that people can fill out after that one as well. And then the stakeholder panel interviews, we have those scheduled. I know there was a little bit of a question about the student panel.
Yeah.
So when the student panel is ready to go and you have the time, I can also provide feedback. If you want me to provide the feedback to, say, a principal who will then work with them, that's great. However you want to do that, just let me know.
Connect you with someone in each school or work with them or, yeah, we'll connect you. Yeah.
And I will be here for all of these events. So when we have the community meet and greet, generally the form of that is we open, we invite the candidate to say a brief statement about themselves, introduce themselves, and then we ask the audience if they have any questions. And I will help moderate that just so that we're moving through time and giving everyone in the room an opportunity to ask at least one question if they want to. And then when we have the interview panels, I will also be there to help move that along and make sure we're staying on track, and then to collect surveys from people after the fact.
We should make sure we have some translation, translators there as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And are these broadcast or are these just in person?
So no, generally when we do the stakeholder interactions, we don't usually broadcast those. We find that in the room, there's an opportunity for people to have a conversation. It's a much more relaxed environment, even with the interview panels themselves. Because it's the stakeholders, we want the conversation to be there. There will be ample opportunity for people to watch the school committee interview, so that even if they have not been able to participate all the way up until that point, there will still be an interview that they will get to see online, and then they would have feedback after that if they would like.
And what about the community, meet the candidate?
No, those are all, yeah, that's a very loose format conversationally, yep.
Okay, so we just want to be sure that when we publicize these, we're making that clear that if people want to watch or listen, they have to come.
Be
Yes,
present, right,
yes,
right.
for these, and then they can watch your interview online
Right.
in real time, yep. Okay,
Oh, sorry, I like.
sure.
Sorry, so the meet and greets, which are both on October 21st, so we have 2 scheduled that day, one earlier, which can be asked for, one later, are both at the East Veterans Library. Okay, and then all the interviews are happening here at the GHS Library. So folks know that. Okay? And we'll be repeating that and messaging that and broadcasting that, but just want to highlight that right now.
And while you're saying that, we already have a place on the website for the superintendent search process. So there, then there's a link on the homepage so that people can get immediately to that. So they don't go through
Yeah, the link on the homepage is good.
some layers. So that way, if anybody says, "Oh, when was that?" You know, it's readily accessible.
Where is that? I'm sorry, Bill.
No, go ahead.
Just to follow up on this. 3:30 at East Vets and school's out at 2:30, so the pickup line is until 3-ish.
They don't do it usually time before 2:15, 2:15, before the.
It'll be great.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there'll be plenty of parking there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bill has a question.
I forgot my question. No, my question was, in your experience, is that kind of normal that these aren't broadcast?
Oh, yes, yes. When we do a full search and we bring someone in the district
Yeah.
for the full day, and we bring in usually 3 candidates, we don't broadcast the things that happen during the day. Only the interview at night is the one that gets broadcast for the school committee, because that's a school committee practice to have your meetings online. So it is absolutely 100% common for those stakeholder interactions not to be broadcast.
Okay, so we just need to make sure that we're getting the word out to say, hey, if you want to be part of this process,
Yes.
you need to
Be there.
in attendance.
And there are multiple opportunities. You can go to your stakeholder interview panel, or you can go to the community meet and greet. You could even, if you wanted to, be in the room the night you guys interview, or watch it from home. All of those things are possible.
Go ahead, Melissa.
How will the school committee be receiving all the feedback? And in enough time to read it, know it,
Yep.
think about it before we interview?
So what will happen is once we generate the surveys, we will have them ready to go for each of those interview panels and for the community meet and greet. And generally what happens is we give them, so looking at the timelines. So you are planning on, oh, I thought I
We
had it
interview
here.
on the,
Yeah, you interview, okay, so you interview on the 5th. So what will happen is, once after each one, we will tell people, please fill out your survey within the next, say, 48 hours. From there, I will generate a report from each of those stakeholder groups that I will then send to the school committee that you will use as part of your background information for the interview that you do.
so they fill out a survey by hand it to you, and you translate it to a document?
Yes, we will also have the
Electronic.
online one as well. So I will see that, much like
Okay.
the solicited volunteers, I get that through
Okay.
SurveyMonkey, and then I can generate a report to give back to you about 48 hours after each panel.
And you collect the handwritten ones if there are any?
If there are in the room handwritten ones, they can definitely give those
And
directly
you
to me.
translate
Yep,
that?
and I will include those in my report.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Hmm.
So, phase 2, we're getting the feedback surveys together. You will consider the feedback survey input. You'll have a little bit of time for that. You're also, if I'm not mistaken, you have the night that you're going to interview scheduled, and then a week later, you're going to vote, or was it
Wednesday and Monday, I think.
Wednesday and Monday? Okay.
Monday.
So you can also, you'll have time to digest those
Monday,
things
okay.
beyond your interview as well, so you will have that stakeholder feedback. And then if we go to, the public interview on November 5th, again, open to the public. And then you will meet to deliberate on the 10th, and that will be a conversation where you can go through, the report that Kathy will have generated from the reference checks, because Kathy was doing the reference checks. You can go through the feedback from the public, if there's anything you all wanted to discuss, and then you would take a vote at the end of that discussion. So, are there any questions?
Is that a special meeting, the November 10th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if these, I would say, I would ask that the school committee approves the slate for the interviews, just so that you have seen it and you know who's going to be there and that you know who's going to be generating the feedback for you.
Just one sort of niggly question. If you email people and someone's like, oh, I didn't realize it was that day.
One of the questions was, will you be available?
I know, I realize that.
Yeah,
Things could change.
And
Yeah.
nevertheless.
Yeah.
So do we have alternates, or do we go back to our?
we do
list?
not currently have alternates, but I don't think that's a problem, because the number you have chosen, 12, is the outer limit I would have said to choose to begin with.
Okay.
So if you end up losing one or two, and it happens in full searches, it happens in interims, it happens all the time. It's okay to lose one or two. That's why we have that huge cross section to begin with. Right. And again, that person who had to step away can have feedback in all the other forms.
Okay.
And, and I would say if Connor, from the city side can't come, we try to, figure out who that alternate would be, so that the city
Right,
administration is
Yeah.
represented.
Mhm.
But other than that,
Yeah, there's enough.
like, he's the only one that wouldn't necessarily be.
Right. Yeah, no, 100%.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the stakeholder interview panels for the family and community, teachers and staff, and administrators as presented in this document.
Second.
And great work, by the way.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussions? I will say, I would also suggest that we include in that, the student representatives will be determined by the principals, right? As opposed to coming to us.
So just
In other words, my question is, do we have confidence that they will, pick students that have a cross section, and that when they come up with their groups, and then they'll invite all the students to participate as well and be in the audience, so that it doesn't have to come back to us.
So I'll amend my motion to add the student interview panel as presented by the principals. Need a second on that.
Second.
Okay,
All in favor of the amendment?
all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
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 All in favor of the motion.
Okay, any discussion anymore? Okay, All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous.
Excellent.
On to the next.
So-
phase.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all for all your hard work, and thank you again to all the people who volunteered. That was a great number of volunteers for a small amount of spots, so thank you so much. And we'll be in contact with them within the next 48 hours to start explaining the process to them and get them ready to go.
And we will thank those who expressed interest,
Yes.
as well.
Can I just have one more question? 'Cause I might have missed it when you were saying it to me. So the community meets on the 21st. Will we get response from their surveys before the following week, or are we waiting until all the panels have met?
48 hours after the event,
48
I will close the survey and generate the report.
Thank you.
So after each event,
Okay.
48 hours, I will close it and generate it.
And I have one more question. When should we expect to have the student panel?
Oh, so we have it, I think we're right, we will call some, obviously Kelly and myself are helping with outreach, from how Kathy directs us. So we'll start doing outreach for the community meet and greet, starting, at the end of, probably beginning of the week, maybe Friday, it's been a long weekend. But, so you'll start seeing that kind of work.
Yes.
Oh, Monday.
Yeah, so we'll keep, we'll make sure every key time and date and place is reminding people.
Fantastic.
It won't be like the recycling updates. It won't be.
Once a week.
It will be every other day.
Just go.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Stay home.
Next item is professional development plan. And that is Amy Casabell.
So this is an update of professional development that we've been having throughout the year so far. I did do a summer overview, so it's not really a lot of summer work, but it's from the beginning of school year on. And just to remind the committee and everyone else that we have a very consistent approach to professional learning, and our intention and approach is so that professional learning improves in instruction and practice always. It's linked to the district and schools' priorities. Professional learning builds over time, so we try to stay away from one and done, and we want to build, and so we can, when we have professional learning, we want to help teachers implement it and follow through. And then professional learning means that we learn from each other. And you're going to see a lot of that in what our upcoming day for November 4th, when I get to that, about learning from each other. A moment to talk about our ESP professional development. A lot of their, well, not a lot, but some of their professional development opportunities have increased since the new contract negotiation. And one of those things, they had summer training over the summer for our program staff that came together and learned from one of our own staff members, Jude Sedamera, about collaborative problem solving and working with students with behaviors. They always have attended half days, and they will continue to do that. Some of those half days, professional developments are building based and some are district based. New is the extra hour once a month that paraprofessionals stay 1 hour longer. The schedule is on the right. The topics differ by school a little bit, but potential topics are de-escalation strategies, problems of practice, how to read the new IEP, collaboration with program leaders, attending staff meetings if what the topics are relevant, PLCs, therapeutic intervention plans, trauma-based classroom, and mental health supports. The list of potential topics came from a meeting last spring. Dr. Jarvis and I met with a group of paraprofessionals and they helped us brainstorm topics. In addition, on September 30th, which was the first extra hour this year, each principal kind of sat with the ESPs and got some input from them, at least at the elementary level. Middle and high did slightly different, and we'll get to that in a minute. But got input on what professional development would be most useful to them. And so we are tailoring it to what paraprofessionals need. And then, of course, on November 4th, our full day training, they participate in that entire day. Ongoing professional development opportunities that we have just across the school year. We always have staff meetings that can be professional development focused, common planning time, PLCs, department meetings, school growth teams, depending on what schools you're at. We have monthly meetings with our EL or ML teachers every other week, twice a month. As a whole department, we are particularly leaning in that this year we have 5 new ML teachers in the district. So we're going to make sure we really provide some nice support there and mentoring, and you'll see some of that on November 4th. Our district-wide clinical staff meets every Monday. On Tuesdays, our program leaders, those are our special education program leaders, meet with Dr. Jarvis every week. And on Fridays, our elementary literacy and coaches meet. So we have collaboration across the district and alignment of curriculum and support. Our first half day was on September 30th, and there were things happening all over the district. So I asked principals for a sample. It was a building-based professional development. So here's just a sample of things. We focused in on ML students and fluency in reading, listening, writing, and speaking, and their language acquisition. The high school did a wonderful deep dive into reviewing the evaluations and really had some nice workshopping so that teachers walked away ready with their goals and focus for the year. We had special education training for ESPs at the high school, so that was a little different, as I mentioned, than the elementaries. The preschool had a presentation on discussing ESP roles and how they support students. We had math and ELA MCAS review. We had open architects, which I'll explain more about that, I'm sure, over the year, but just as an overview, it is a data warehouse. Last year, we used a different platform. We've switched this year to open architect. It's more user-friendly. And so teachers are able to really get multiple data points of their students and make plans to meet their needs and really focus on student achievement and growth. We're hopeful that a portion of that would go onto our website, so the overall data will be public and be more transparent about it. We're not there yet. We're still building the database system because it's new to us this year. But that's our goal, is to get that out there so even the public can take a look at our MCAS achievement data, our attendance data, and all of that, and be very out front with it. We had follow-up meetings on data meetings and interventions. There was intruder drill planning at the middle school. And we also took a deep dive on some MCAS writing. Again, all of this didn't happen at every school, but that's what's happening around the district on that day. So teachers and paraprofessionals were very busy. And so our next professional development that's coming up is November 4th. It is a full day. We are adding the extra hour onto the day, so it's an extended day. It's either a staff meeting time or the paraprofessional extra hour. We will be together as a district from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. We'll start all together as a district. Instead of a keynote speaker this year, we're going to start just talk with the focus of our theme for the year, which is gratitude, positivity, and purpose. And we'll have a short 20-minute come together. I will have some expression of gratitude. We will have something that hopefully is positive or at least intended to be positive. And then we will talk about our common purpose. We will be using Thought Exchange, which is a survey tool that everyone in the district can answer questions, and it will pull that data in quickly. And it has an AI component where it will summarize it for us very quickly. So that will help us focus on our purpose. Then there are 2 morning sessions, 90 minutes each. There are professional development, and there's a choice, followed by 2 45-minute sessions. In the past, we've offered self-care kind of throughout this year. There's 2 45-minute sessions. One is lunch, and the other is a self-care option. They can do either in either order. They get to take a lunch and do a self-care option. And then we finish the day with a third professional development 90-minute session. We have, as of yesterday's count, we broke the 100 unique professional development offerings in the catalog that will be going out very soon. 13 outside contractors that will be coming in to help run professional developments. 10 community partners will be coming in to help with different sessions, and you can see our community partners on the right. Art Haven Backyard Growers is teaming up with Open Door to run something. Cape Ann Museum, DCF, Manship Art, Miss Tina's Dance, Sleeping Tiger Martial Arts, Treetop Yoga, and the YMCA will all be offering sessions. But we have even more, and the majority of them are run by our own staff. So we have over 100 sessions and 23 between outside contractors and community partners. So that means the remainder of the sessions are run by our own staff. So when we go back to our intention of professional learning, when we learn from each other, this is a day that is exactly that. And part of my gratitude on that day right now will be to thank all of those amazing educators that are stepping up to lead in their topic. So that's something that will be happening that day. In addition, during, I want to thank Carrie Ann LaRose and our food service department. She will be helping out with catering breakfast, and we also will have some Jim's Bagels there. So that breakfast will be provided for staff. There will be a staff vaccine clinic offered during the lunch periods. Human Resources is going to offer a drop-in for personalized support for anybody who has questions about their own journey. And we will have the Melt food truck available on site. We are not buying everybody lunch, but it will be there on site for purchase. And so that's the menu that will be there.
Menu.
And we will have presenter prizes. That doesn't mean everybody's going to get a prize, but that's part of bringing the positivity. We will have some sort of door prize for presenters. It'll be a raffle, I'm imagining some sort of spinning wheel. And we're gonna try to bring some fun back. So that is gonna be a big day, and that's on November 4th. Yes.
Quick question, Amy. It's kind of, can you go back to the previous slide?
Yes.
I mean, this is kind of the 10,000-foot view. Is it possible for us to see the catalog of the offerings? Or-
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't shared it with all staff yet, but I can preview a little bit. It's about a 43-page document. Because it has one page of instructions about the day, explaining the day, about a 7-page table that looks like this with all the choices, and they're hyperlinked to the description of each course.
Oh, perfect.
So it's not quite ready for prime time yet, but when I share it for preview in the morning, I can share it I can make it public to you as well.
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you.
And I will share it tomorrow to be as a preview for all staff to look at. They cannot sign up until October 15th. At 3 o'clock, we will open the sign up time. It will be open until, I believe it's Monday, the 20th, to sign up for their choices. There's limits for some. We have offerings like CPR, that's limited because of regulations. And there'll be wait lists if things fill up fast.
Great.
Yeah.
Appreciate
So
it.
between the 15th and the 20th, some courses may drop if they don't fill. If a staff member out of the 100+ selections finds something that say there's nothing for them, I encourage staff to still offer something, and I'll add it to the calendar. So we could add and drop things over the week. And we're gonna go from there.
Appreciate it.
Any questions on this or?
Well, it sounds great that there's so many options. I know we are, and there's many things that professional development, many areas of professional development. It'll be interesting how many you actually hold out of 100.
We probably won't run them all.
Right, and how that looks to kind of evaluate and, planning the next time to have some, like you say, you don't have a keynote speaker, so that
Right.
usually would attract, a lot of people.
Right. We do have, some of our contractors do keynotes. I'm just having them do sessions, like Katie Novak, who is the guru of UDL,
Right,
they will be there all day, and she'll be running 3 sessions throughout the day.
okay,
So we do have
Yep.
people coming and doing that. We're just, instead of having the big keynote,
I get it.
she's gonna be focusing in on specific topics.
Oh.
How did they, sorry.
Well, I'm done.
The community partners, are they sponsoring, are they providing, what role are they playing?
So Art Haven, always does a wonderful, training on how to bring art into the classroom and aligning it with standards. They do an amazing job with that. Backyard Growers is actually is partnering with Open Door and is doing like a farm to table kind of, they're talking about growing food and then coming up with recipes of how to then create healthy meals. DCF, Cam hasn't got, I didn't have the details yet, so I'm gonna skip over that for a minute, but DCF is coming in, talking about, 51As, so when teachers have to file, with like mandate, with DCF and mandated reporting, kind of to know what the process is, because, people get frustrated if they don't hear back, and sometimes there's reasons for that, and just to demystify that whole process. Manship always does an amazing job. They sponsor something, a full day activity for all of our art teachers. She has not gotten back to me the exact topic yet. She's narrowed it down to 2. Last year they did glass blowing, or 2 years ago they did glass blowing. Last year they did some sculpture with metal. So that it's always something very exciting and fulfilling for our teachers. Miss Tina's dance is new to us this year, but not new to collaborating with Gloucester Public Schools. So she'll be offering one of those self-care options. Sleeping Tiger Martial Arts is also new, a partnership, but they'll be doing some self-care. And then Treetop Yoga has almost every year worked with us in this, and they're amazing. And the YMCA as well. Yeah. So.
And then when you see the catalog, you'll see all the other pieces that are very focused on instruction, academic achievement, keeping student belonging.
Right. And those are sessions B, C, and F. And another reason why I have to have so many is we're covering staff from pre-K through 12, and we're covering general education, special education, related services, mental health support. We have sessions for administrators. We have sessions for.
We used to not have sessions specifically for paraprofessionals, and we do now, as Amy showed you before, so yes, we've expanded.
And we've heard administrative assistants, we have sessions, we have. Try to hit them all.
In our discussions with like bus monitors, some of the other units, there was, it was brought up that they would be provided opportunity.
Yes.
I don't, we didn't mandate that they have it, but we would provide them and pay them if they come to
They
de-escalation.
certainly could join.
So I just want to remind you of that there are a couple units that we have that language now.
Mhm.
Feeling like it was, it was brought up by bus monitors that they would like to
And
feel more confident. in
Cafeteria
how they-
workers, maybe.
Yeah.
There was another one.
And there's some professional development that happens outside of this day.
Yeah, so maybe it's like
For
not-
units like that.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's, no, thank you, but you're doing it. You're doing what they need.
And then the rest of the year, we have a few more half days. December 9th is still in planning, but this is the direction we're going into, particularly for elementary. We're writing across the curriculum will be across the district, but co-teaching at the elementary level with a focus of writing, particularly in wit and wisdom. And then a continuum of engagement. We want to really focus on bringing engagement across the district. And then February 3rd, I want to invite all of you. We have a speaker, Carrie Stack. She's a certified life coach. This is going to be a district-wide. This is our keynote speaker. I moved it basically to February. This will be a keynote speaker, and we actually had her come to the summer leadership retreat for administrators, and it was very well received. And almost all of the principals said, we need to have her talk to our teachers, and I agreed. So I worked with her. She'll be coming to us in February. And our theme of positivity, she will bring it. She is very inspiring. And so I invite you to join us. When it comes, I'll remind you as we get closer to it, but that's planned for February. There. And then in March, we'll have another district-wide for the elementary level, again, focusing on co-teaching, but with a slant towards mathematics. Other trainings in the district will be on evaluations and learning walks and having teachers learn from each other. And then our final half day is in May. It is only for pre-K through 5, and it's usually about class placement, scheduling, planning moving up days, talking about achievement goals, student data, check-in, end of year celebrations and evaluations. And the last slide is just a very small sampling of PD that happens just generally across the year for different people. We offer 3 courses through Rebus, and those are the 3 that we're offering. They will be, anybody listening, they fill up within a day usually. They'll be posted probably by next week, so people can alert themselves to that. They're very well attended. Carol Gregory runs those through Rebus course offerings. We have extra training for our literacy training. We have contained math, Wilson certification, and letter certification. All of those are literacy based, best practices. And then we send various staff members to conferences led by on the right. That's just an overall of the various PD we got.
Just a quick question, did you get feedback from the September 30th?
Yes, so I did not send out a district-wide survey. I need to because it was building based, the principals were gathering that. Anecdotally, I heard tremendous things, particularly about the high school on evaluations. Teachers were very happy to at the end of the day, their self-assessment and their goals and their educator plans were ready to go. They knew they were in line with district and school goals. So they very much enjoyed that. So I've heard good things. I didn't send a district-wide for that because it was building based, but I absolutely will for November 4th.
Thank you for so much work.
This is excellent.
Can I ask that you send that to us? I was snapping some pictures, but can you
Yeah.
send that presentation to us and then the link to the professional development when it's able to be sent to us?
We'll also
Yeah.
post as part of the whole of the, you know, I always put all the presentations we give into the superintendent's report presentation, which is always on the website. You know, typically the day afterwards, so it'll be there as well. We'll send it directly to you.
I'll send it directly to you, and in the morning, maybe I'll send both that and I'll have a catalog sent.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, we have had no subcommittee meetings since our last meeting. So the next item is action. We've already done first. The second item is approval of the superintendent goals, which everybody has a copy in front of them.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay,
No,
does
no,
anybody-
It's what you saw last time, which we discussed, yeah.
so does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yep.
Goal number 1. It's difficult. I struggle when we put certain numbers in there because it means you have to meet it, right? So goal number 1 is that we're gonna make progress towards our goal of 80% students meeting and exceeding standards. Remind me again of where we were this year. I know we were like in the 60s, I think.
No, I mean, it
For the
varies,
growth?
it really,
We're talking growth.
yeah, on growth, we were 50 plus or minus, depending on which group or which school or.
This year,
what-
right?
Well,
I mean, last school year.
last school year reported, so we'll report the next month what we did on MCAS last year, okay? We also show you growth in terms of different,
Testing.
district specific,
Yeah.
assessments, you know, not statewide assessments.
Yeah.
So we were, so our goal is to get 60% growth across, you know, different groups, all groups really. We're not there yet, you know, so we are starting, sort of in the like 45 to 55 generally.
But I thought, if I remember correctly, I could be remembering wrong, when we were talking about data and we had the what's their positions, our coaches come in and they were presenting all the data. And it was showing that the trajectory was going up and that the growth was hitting where we wanted the growth to go. It was increasing.
Yeah, so it's
So which growth are we talking about? The growth that we're hearing at those data meetings?
it's all the same. Yeah, it's all the same. I don't.
I just want to understand what the growth is that we're measuring.
Yeah, so we're growth on any of the MCAS first of all,
Yeah.
okay? And then any district assessments that we have growth measures for. So really, that's DIBELS, that's STAR
STAR
360. Really,
and all that,
STAR
yeah.
360 is the main one, because that's essentially K through 12,
Mhm.
okay, more or less. So really those two, MCAS and STAR 360. But no, I mean, the growth there isn't where we want it to be. I'm not sure what you're remembering, what you're saying is, but.
I think when we were talking about wisdom, we were seeing growth.
I think I remember, I think there were a few grades.
Yes,
I
that,
think there were a few grades in a few things that were getting closer.
yes,
But I,
yes, that's
Was
right.
very promising.
right,
Yeah, yeah,
that were very promising, and then there were some that were still struggling.
yes,
Right.
exactly right, yeah, and what I.
But that was before it was even fully implemented.
Right, yeah. So what we'll do, so 2 weeks from now, just in terms of reporting, and so you can, you'll see. Sort of, I don't want to say baseline, but you'll see the scores from MCAS specifically, 2 weeks from now with, O'Malley, is gonna give a full report on their strong start this year, okay? And also share, their progress on MCAS, okay? And then in November, 3 through 5, and then also the high school, okay? So that'll be a good time to check in on what we're talking about and how we're making progress towards 80% efficiency, or meet and exceed, sorry, and 6% growth, okay? We won't be there, okay? We've got work to do, as we all say. But then you'll be able to monitor throughout the year, especially on stuff 360.
Got it.
Part of the challenge is,
360s in January? When do they do the start?
They do start, they've done it in September as a beginning of the year assessment. They'll do it again
I
in
thought
January
that's what I
as middle of the year, and then in May for the end of the year. We usually present, we presented sometimes in the middle of the year and sometimes at the end.
then the other piece that's part of that goal is, so the schools are all setting specific school-wide achievement goals, okay? Aligned with the district goal there, district-wide goal. And also I'm saying that, holding them accountable for those as well, okay? We obviously, our leadership team, like we met today, and also, Dr. Jarvis, Amy, myself, are supporting them on that, guiding, we're working together on those things because, leaders help leaders, obviously, to support their staff in, understanding what those goals are, or creating those goals, first of all, but then working towards them. So there's the large district-wide goal, which is spelled out there, but then also specific, and we'll share those with you as we go on in school specific.
Well, I just wanna say, I think it's important enough that we should read this out loud.
I can also show it.
Yeah, but I think it's important to sort of say what it is we're talking about.
Okay, you can show it. So I'm struggling with, and I know whenever we present data, we say we have this 80% threshold or 80% target, right? I know years ago when Desi was much more on top of our district, there were certain growth goals, right? Of, they wanted to see 10% growth, and 10% growth meaning of the previous year. So not 10%, but if it was 30, they wanted to see 3, right? And you meet or exceed. So I guess I'll just say that this goal is very ambitious if it's your goal, if it's the goal for the year.
Exactly.
So it's the ultimate goal, but I'm not sure it's a 1-year goal. That's really kind of where I'm going at with that. And the other piece is I think it would be helpful when you say high growth, just in parentheses what that means, like 40 to 60%, 40 to 60, whatever the grade level advancement, right? If they're doing 1 grade level per year, even if they're behind, they're still at least maintaining. And obviously if it's higher, then they're gaining ground. So that just, it's in a document that the public has as to just reminding them sort of our benchmark.
Can I ask you a question? I may have understood the first point. I understand, 80% from where we are now on meets and exceeds is.
But it does say make progress,
Yeah.
because that's where I was going at first, but then I realized it says make progress towards the goal,
Yeah.
not attain the goal.
Right.
Does that satisfy your concern?
It does.
Okay.
I like
But
having,
maybe it should be in italics, makes progress.
Oh, okay. So, and then also I hear on the adjust, so it's
Just
include with high growth.
Little
Just referencing that.
Parentheses.
but I just wanna say, I appreciate saying make progress toward our goal of 80%, because it shows that like, we understand there is an issue that we're not meeting that, and we are moving towards an ambitious goal.
Great.
So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So I'll read that
That's-
all out loud, or I'll just read it out loud. improve academic learning and achievement and make progress toward our goal of 80% of students meeting and exceeding standards and having high growth in all relevant assessments. And underneath it says support principals and school-based administrators in achieving their specific school-based achievement goals.
Have you defined what that means?
Sorry.
Now that I hear it out loud.
Which one, sorry?
Support the principals and school-based administrators in achieving their specific school-based achievement goals.
Sure, so a couple things, yeah, I can do that. So, each principal is working with staff to create a specific school-wide achievement goal.
Okay,
So the work that I'll show you or evidence of is how I, with our team and also principals together,
Yeah.
worked. I really, I don't do it by myself, okay, of the three of us. Through different, meetings and mechanisms of support, help them organize that, work towards it, lead towards it, achieve it, basically, okay?
so the voice of the educators is in that, who the administrator is talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you think about it, is we work together, so how do you lead towards achieving your school-wide achievement goal, basically?
Okay.
How do you, as leaders, as school leaders and district leaders, how do we work with staff, and when I say we, I mean, because it's not like Amy or I work with one principal, we do that as well. But then we're also thinking, planning and learning together about how to effectively incorporate, you meet with staff, utilize our coaches, utilize the planning time, using character development time, using staff meeting time, communicate, that sort of stuff around the school-wide achievement goal. So everyone's working, knows what to do in whatever their role is to work towards it, okay? That's happening, with the instructional leadership team, which is staff, that's happening through the staff, teacher teams, but essentially, what's my role in organizing and helping to support the school to work with their staff?
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And we now have more special education program directors at different schools.
Yeah,
That's part of, working.
Definitely is, yeah.
First of all, thank you for that. To me, the thing that really sticks out is, like, I remember the meeting that we talked about making progress, and I left feeling like, oh, that's good, we're making some progress in the key areas. The issue was, just like Melissa, I was like, was that the meeting, I wish the data was more readily available, I guess is what I'm driving at. And I don't know if that's even possible, but I think the more that we get that progress out to people, the less pushback we get on, things that aren't true.
So we'll be able to, with using our open architecture, which is data warehouse they're using, it's much more accessible, we'll be able to, we are intending to have a dashboard or some, up-to-date reporting, both as an MCAS or a STAR, and I'll update during the school year.
Yeah.
But it'll be on our website as we're stuff we can look at it.
Yeah.
It's in alignment with my goals and the district-wide goals, but that's what we're working towards. Until this year, we haven't had a tool that can do that really that well in a way that's sort of easily understandable.
Yeah.
It was just too complicated.
Right. And even times where I thought, well, gee, I'd like to put that out there, the progress. I'm like, it's kind of complicated. I'm not that.
Yeah.
I haven't really figured it out.
It's a lot of representation and sort of how can you add on so people can read a little bit and understand what's there. And with open architecture, we should be able to do that in a way that's much more understandable.
That's good. So the ultimate goal is to make it palatable for people to look at, read, and kind of discern.
Yeah.
And in real
Understandable.
time,
Understandable.
instead of going back to DESI where
Yeah.
it goes back a year, right?
With both and, so that's a big, again, what I always want to say is there are great things happening in our schools every single day on so many levels. Okay, we talk about SROs today, that's great stuff, okay? We talk about the science program all the time, that's great stuff. We talk about, we don't talk about all the learning that happens every day, kids learning how to read, kids learning the basics of phonics or foundation, which helps them read, okay? Kids learning how to make inferences and synthesize stuff in all sorts of subjects, okay? That stuff is only partially captured on any given test, okay? Now, the tests are an assessment that are important. They help us do some basic things, okay? But it's still that combination, which creates the richness that we have in our schools every day, okay? I'm saying we have to do both well. We have to do all the interesting things, all the engaging things, all the fundamental pieces of teaching and learning, okay, and growing. And all that great work has also got to be represented in the achievement scores, okay? It's not an either or, okay? And we can do both, we should do both. But I always want to caution anybody, especially the public who's a little bit further removed, is test scores alone don't show everything, okay? They don't capture the richness, the excitement, the learning, the engagement that's happening on so many levels. Band never shows up in a test score, okay? But those things that our band teachers are doing affects positive lives and can affect test scores, okay? But there's no correlation
And
there.
provide some pathways to
Yeah.
Berkeley College of Music.
Yeah, but it's both and, but all the great work you do also needs to be reflected in the test scores, that are, one of the basic steps we have in education. So I hope not only you, I know you folks understand, but I need other folks to understand as well. So it's both and.
Okay.
Am I reading?
Okay, so number 2, improve access to and use of student and staff data so we are able to more regularly analyze and publicly report results on student achievement, attendance, and engagement.
You were just exactly what we were just talking about.
Just talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, strengthen inclusive instructional practices and co-teaching through effective and ongoing professional development.
So you've heard a little bit about, but tonight, the co-teaching work we're doing, but this is a really crucial part of our path forward. You got to make sure that we continue to, and so we'll show you evidence of when that's been happening, and also responses about it.
Will we be getting a report on that soon? I know the new program, well, we added co-teaching this year.
We are doing more coaching.
Adding more
Yes, yep,
co-teaching
yep.
to our practice. And then the autism program as well, this was a year that we were
Yeah, so there's been
putting in a lot of
changes,
resources.
a lot
I
of
was
steps
just wondering when
forward.
we'll get
Yeah.
a report. But still remember, and Amy saying, it's not all gonna be in place day one, right? But would like to hear,
Yeah, we get a
now that we're a couple months in,
Yeah.
what's going
We
on.
will, Kath and I will sort of continue to sort through the calendar of upcoming, but that's certainly something we plan to do and will do.
Just wanting to know if there's any resources we need to advocate for, if we're finding out we need them, right? So just, I don't wanna wait till February. I wanna hear
Right.
it sooner,
Okay,
right?
good, I think that's good.
Lisa has a budget
Your
in
chair
mind.
heard that, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Actually, we can just refer to BNF next week if we have to.
Probably not ready.
Don't put it be an
Continue the development of a continuum of special education services by strengthening our district-wide special education programs by creating program descriptions and entrance and exit criteria, ensuring effective staffing and providing curriculum and instructional materials.
That'll be documentation and artifacts.
Number 5, renew the plan for ongoing improvement by updating the actions and implementation steps necessary to make progress on our 4 ongoing district priorities. And number 6, continue to lead the district beyond the disruption we faced over the past 2 years, engaging, connecting, rebuilding, and creating an effective transition to the district's next superintendent.
A lot of goals.
So the
A lot of
only
work.
thing I want to come back to is our co-team on improving student learning and how that fits. It doesn't fit into here necessarily.
I think it's number 1, definitely.
Well, it does. So so I would push that group to kind of put forth or think about how they fit to help that, right? That's the whole purpose of the group.
Yes,
is to,
exactly right.
and maybe it's early, but dissecting data, and as we said, we're trying to find some priorities, some areas of kind of urgency or longer term plan with different aspects of helping kids improve learning. And for anybody Bill wanted to be on that. I didn't have anybody else begging. So Bill's going to be the school committee person on that group when they meet next. Okay, without objection. Okay. Okay,
I just have a niggling thing. So there's a period at the end of
Number 4?
3.
Oh, 3 and?
There's a period at the end, but there's not periods and 1, but then there's not periods.
That's
tighten
fine.
that up?
That's also something that can happen after the meeting too.
Okay.
We're kind of-
Nothing if not precise.
Because they're not sentences, so they don't have periods, correct?
You can look after the meeting. See
Right.
which-
Prove it now, you can.
Usually.
You got called out publicly on it, it may change it.
I have a problem with the font.
Right, listen.
okay, so. Do we have a motion to approve the superintendent's goals?
I
So
move
moved.
that we,
Okay,
second,
okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? This will go on the website
Sure.
without the word draft
Without the retract, exactly.
With periods
or without
Wait,
Not really
consistently.
or
Okay.
colons, semicolons.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
I'm on it.
great. Good discussion, good discussion, very good discussion on the importance of the work. Oh, superintendent.
Get a tattoo.
Okay, we have a couple grants to accept from the Gloucester Education Foundation. So I move that we accept the Gloucester Education Foundation West Parish fifth grade play grant in the amount of $3,500 and the Gloucester Education Foundation West Parish Visual Arts / Theater Integration Grant in the amount of $3,168.95.
second.
Okay, we've been seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are
Wait,
going,
I have a new business.
oh, new business from Melissa.
So last meeting, we had a gentleman in the audience who could not hear when he was here, and he came up to the table and mentioned there was a concern with sound in the room. I went home and watched the Zoom meeting of that meeting and realized Zoom is not picking up our voices loud and clear. It's very staticky in a lot of areas. So, couple things. So being an ADA coordinator at my job, I deal with a lot of people who cannot hear a lot. And I was wondering if we have access to a hearing amplifier that we can bring with us. It's a pocket, it's little instrument that someone can put on some headphones and it amplifies the sound in the room. They go for like $100 to purchase them. I didn't know if we had them
For audience members?
for audience members that we keep them, but if they want to borrow it for not for all of the audience, but for people who are struggling to hear. I believe Ethan from the Times said he couldn't hear us either, and he was sitting next to the gentleman.
So I think there are two different things here. One is in the room.
Right, and then Zoom,
Okay,
right? So I know there's two different things, so,
I don't, so let me.
and I don't know if the city does anything. Does the city have, they have
We used to have.
amplifiers
we
at
used to have
City
upon
Hall, right?
request.
Yep.
Earbuds that you could take.
Right, the amplifier.
But the sounds have been improved greatly. I don't think anybody used it. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they came.
So I'm wondering if we still have them, that we can use them here,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what happened to them.
or get some.
I mean, what about if someone can't hear? We have a microphone or some sort of audio.
Well, so that's
Yeah,
a
so-
whole
so-
nother thing,
So
it's
I'm
microphones.
making this up right now, here, but like, for example, more, you need and can we use more mics? Okay.
Right.
So what's one possibility? And is there something, or something that can, project
Right.
and not, and be incorporated into the mic here?
Right.
We have two things going on.
Two different things,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, I'll talk to Grant Harris. He'll, is very good at coming up with
Yeah.
ideas and possibilities or, and I can look into it. And then we'll, see what we can come up with in terms of both louder within the room, but also,
Exactly.
making sure it's being picked up properly, we assume.
And I know when you're on Zoom, when you go back to watch the meeting, it gives a verbatim discussion of everything that's being said. If AI understands each word correctly, you can actually read what's being said. Not live though, like people at home now, there's probably a lot of times that they're not understanding what we're hearing. Is my experience watching the meetings. It wasn't just that meeting, it's been
There
other
also may be
meetings.
closed captioning, but we'll look into that. Closed
Yeah.
captioning
Yeah.
is a, and Yeah.
Meaning it's a function we could turn on.
I think, I'm not sure. I feel like it is, but I don't know for sure.
I just think it would be helpful, and I go through this in other boards that I'm on with Zoom too, so I know it's not just exclusively here, but I think in this room, we are having because of the size and the makeup of this room, there might not be.
And I also suggest that after we have public comment done, if people are in the audience, we just move the podium out of the way. Because sometimes seeing people speak helps you hear them better. All right. Good suggestion.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going into executive session and we will only come out for the purpose of adjourning. So I move that we enter executive session pursuant to executive session purpose 2 of Mass General Law 30A, section 21A, to discuss strategy and or to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel, and purpose 3 of Mass General Law 30A, section 21A, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with Teamsters Local Union 42 transportation workers, the Nurses Association, and AFSCME C. So,
Second.
okay, so call vote, please, Stephanie.
Ms. Prince,
Yes.
Mayor Verga,
Yes.
Chair Clancy,
Yes.
Mr. Melvin,
Yes.
Ms. Weason,
Yes.
Mr. McKee.
Yes.
Who seconded this?
Who seconded?
I think Melissa.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
That I made it.
Thank you, everybody who attended online. We did not have anybody in person this evening.